Yo, people, we back again for another episode, man. Hope you men are doing well. You know the usuals. Like, comment, and subscribe, people. I'm a bit tired right now, so I might not be my same exuberant energy, but it is what it is. We're blessed to be alive, innit? But let's get straight to the topic here. First up, we're going to be looking at is the top four race. Is it over right now? Because let's even start with West Ham because you man lost against Everton. So,
Yeah,
sorry, but I want to get your thoughts on that defeat and just like your
yeah.
general thoughts if the top four's over now.
I think it's basically over. I think Leicester have a 5 point lead over us now in fourth place. That game was like the Everton game was really vital in terms of just getting that gap down to 2 points. We have three relatively easy games coming up, but against Brighton, Southampton, and West Brom. And we got Declan Rice to come back as well, which is a big bonus. But yeah, we just didn't really create much in that game, and you can tell the players are getting tired now as well. Like I said earlier on, um, but yeah, like I'm not complaining if we don't get top four. Yeah,
Nah, I hear that, man. You man put up a good fight, though. You man put up a good
yeah.
fight, definitely, man. Wait, how many points you on now? 58?
58. We're four away from our best ever total. So
Wow, you got 62 one season. That's pretty impressive.
yeah,
That's pretty impressive. All right, what's your thoughts? Because Leicester are playing today, as we're recording on
Yeah,
Tuesday, against United. If they get
yeah,
like a point or even a win, I think top four's guaranteed. But yeah, what's
more or
your
less
thoughts?
done. Yeah. I think West Ham obviously put up a good fight. Although now I wonder if I'm not really I haven't checked the table details, but I'm not really sure if Europa is also certified for them. Is it? Because I think Liverpool and Spurs are about.
they're like 1 point behind us each. So they're like
Yeah,
Liverpool's
so
on
I
50.
think it shows that I think what they should really just be focusing on is just finishing in Spurs are 2 points behind, Liverpool are a point with the game in hand. Yeah. So I think West Ham should just obviously try and focus on getting Europa spots and stuff like that. Although, on paper, I feel like getting to the UCL would probably have been easier for them because like in the UCL they wouldn't have as many games and they would basically be able to make better use of the squad and stuff like that. But although now in Europa, if they do make Europa, then obviously the Europa schedule's a bit tighter because they have the round of 32 and stuff like that. But yeah,
I think
that's
they're
just
changing
something.
it, you know. I
Sorry.
think it's only two spots for Europa League. I think they're making Europa League smaller because of the Conference League now.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah. So they make the round of 32. Yeah, that would make sense. Yeah. Yeah, but obviously that's what West Ham should be focusing on now. Just trying to win those last three games and just make sure
Yeah,
that they make European places, and making the Europa League is not bad at all for West Ham. So that would be huge for them as well. Yeah, good season all over, all around. Yeah, I think they'll be proud of like what they've accomplished this season, regardless of whether they couldn't make
definitely.
the Champions League or not.
Then
Yeah, I agree. I think the top four races over for West Ham, but I think it's not over for Liverpool, strangely enough.
Ooh,
Leicester,
game in hand. That's all.
Leicester, as we see, they got battered by Newcastle. They've
Yeah,
got 3 games left to go, and their 3 games are probably the hardest 3 games of anyone in the Premier League. They've got Chelsea, Man United, and Spurs. And if Liverpool win their game in hand, they'll be 3 points behind Leicester. So depending on how Leicester do in them last 3 games, they could drop out again, which wouldn't do well for Brendan Rodgers' bottle job narrative. But as for West Ham, I think they've had a very good season. Considering a lot of people were predicting them to go down, I think they've had a very good season. I think David Moyes has done very well, but I don't think they can make Champions League. As already said, I think Europa League is the aim at this point, and I think even that would be very good.
yeah, no, I hear that as well, man. Denzel, what about you? What's your thoughts on the top four race? Is it over?
It's definitely not over. I don't. Maybe I'm just a pessimist, but even United, like we have, I know it's like 1 point and we qualify for Champions League, but we have 4 games left, and if we don't get, I know it is silly, but
No, I think you're through. I think you're through.
we're not yet. No. We still need one more point. To qualify. So even United, who's in second place, haven't qualified for Champions League yet. So it's a very open, in my opinion, anything can happen in football. So I'm not gonna write off anybody have an opportunity to get to Champions League. It's still very open. But obviously how it's sitting right now is probably the most likely outcome. But it's not over. For me anyway, I don't think it's over.
I hear that, man. I think Leicester, if they just get even just 2 draws from their remaining games, I think because they have enough of a cushion to survive, in my opinion. But no, they have to make top 4. There's no other way about it with Leicester, in my opinion. It won't be acceptable. I don't care how small you are. You know, with that lead that you've had twice now, nah, it's unacceptable. Let's say in the Prem, because obviously I think Jamie Carragher and Gary Neville are doing team of the season. I didn't prepare mine, but I know Sarab and Ore have their teams. So I want to hear those teams and then let's spin off them and see what we think on them. So Sarab, you can go first.
Do you want me to read the whole 11 out?
Yep.
Okay, so I've gone for Edison, Kufal, Maguire, Diaz, Shaw, Rice, Bruno, Gundogan, Salah, Kane, Grealish.
Maguire?
Yeah, I don't know about that Maguire.
I put Maguire / Stones. There's an argument for both. But
Maguire?
There's an argument.
Well, you know what, yeah. Maguire's stats are actually mad, you know.
No. He's done well.
He's actually I've had my large amount of criticism on Maguire, yeah. But I can't lie, like he's since the new year he's been very good. I can't even deny it. Like I have a Maguire agenda. I get onto him a lot. But even me, I'll give it up to Maguire. He's had a very, very good season and it's been since the new year he's been very, very consistent. So
he shouldn't be in team of the year.
Putting him in that conversation isn't a bad shout in my opinion.
It isn't a bad shout. To me, that last centre back position is between Stones and Maguire.
Yeah.
And I feel like Stones is
between Stones and Maguire.
Stones is.
If we're being honest, since Tuchel's come in, Rudiger's been better than Maguire.
But does that?
For being honest,
back three tax, man.
No, we're not doing back three tax. We're not doing back three tax. We're not doing. You have to judge a player by what they've been playing on.
Back three tax.
Maguire's been solid.
The sample size isn't from when Tuchel came in. It's from the whole season.
But Maguire only started playing.
Rudiger was quite awful in the beginning of beginning of the season. So you can't just ignore that. Maguire has been consistently better over the season than Rudiger.
He was poor. At the start of the season, he was poor.
He would be in there. I don't care.
Who?
If Thiago Silva didn't get injury halfway through the season, he would have been in there.
Yeah, it would be a shout.
He's been better than Maguire when he's played, even this season.
Okay.
People are forgetting how poor Maguire was at the start, bro. Half the United fan base wanted Maguire out by Christmas.
Yeah. But he's like, no, the thing is like with Maguire, it's moments. It's not like he's consistently been trash. Like he has moments that makes you like just fume as a fan.
But there's bare defenders as that though. Like David Luiz is like that as well.
He actually is consistent. I feel like I was talking to my brother about Maguire, and he was saying to me, if Maguire costs like 30 million, people wouldn't be on his neck like they are now.
I'll give it to him. He's actually
a good defender.
My thing is that he's not team of the season worthy. That's my thing. He's actually been decent. I've always kept the energy that he's actually a decent defender. People just like to overdo it, and I understand because of his price, but even just a little mistakes he makes, people like to overdo it. But I'm sorry, he's not team of the season worthy. I do agree. Since January, he has been impressive, but not team of the season worthy. No.
And John Stones has been better the whole season.
An argument could also be made that Stones has just had like a very small sample size because he hasn't played that many games.
That's the issue. Like you've got to balance it out between Maguire playing 40 games and Stones being rotated. Like
Maguire,
before matters more.
Before our last game, Maguire played every single minute of the season.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's a large sample.
If someone has a larger sample size, because Stones has played quite a relative amount, small, like a few games, you know, compared to Maguire.
He's played 20 games this season.
Stone, yeah, he's playing 20, and Maguire
That's not too small. That's a decent enough
Maguire
sample
played
size.
34. That is the.
I mean,
mean-
but Stones has been consistently better than Maguire this season.
Hey, you
Yeah,
might say
I-
Stones has played
you
20
might-
games. Thiago Silva's played 20 games and he's been better than Stones.
Mm,
And you know it's true. You know it's true.
nah. I wouldn't say that.
No, he has been.
Thiago Silva was a bit shaky when he first
Yeah, he
came.
was a bit shaky.
understandably.
Remember the West
The
Brom
first
game?
few games, he was.
He just made one mistake. That was it.
But he was adjusting a bit, like the first few games when he came to the Premier League.
Nah, not really. Just West Brom. That was it, really.
It wasn't really just the West Brom game. Well, it's not like Chelsea was good defensively. Like,
Remember, there was a period where Chelsea were good defensively, and then we went downhill. But he was still solid
I
throughout.
don't know.
Yeah, I wouldn't have Thiago Silva in my team of the season, but if you're putting someone like a Maguire, I'm having Thiago Silva in there.
So who is your centre back after with Jared?
Would you man take
Yeah,
Konza in team of the season? Because I'll be real, he's
Possibly,
been very good all
yeah.
year.
Possibly, yeah. Now, Constance been very, very good.
Konza's been good all year.
He's
Very
very
good.
quality.
I
But
think team of the season, a lot of it is like big team. People select people from big teams rather than the smaller teams because they watch them more often.
Yeah, but there's an argument.
Yeah,
there's an argument about
no.
the Villa defense, which I have for Martinez being in goal as well.
I
You
think
got
that's
Martinez in your team of the season?
that should be a quite clear cut.
Like the defense for Villa has took a massive step back since like January. Since they had that COVID outbreak, they've been pretty bad defensively, and Martinez has saved them so many times.
No, but Martinez makes bare mistakes though. That's like people. This is the thing about
He
Martinez.
doesn't make bare. He doesn't make bare.
He does. He does. I watch,
He
bro.
doesn't.
Watch
He
doesn't
Martinez
make
every
bare
2 weeks. He'll make a howler. Every
doesn't.
2 weeks.
He doesn't make the howler.
He does, bro. It's because he plays for Villa. No one picks it up. If he played for Arsenal,
You don't have to have beef with him because he left Arsenal, bro. Trust
No,
me.
I don't even have
He's-
beef with him. I
he's
like
been-
Martinez, bro.
He's been the
I
best.
like Martinez. He makes a howler every 2
To me, he's been the
weeks.
best keeper this season. Not even just
Nah.
not even just goal.
He's not been better than Mendy this season, bro.
The way he's helped Villa break out
been
like
very
with the
good.
ball, how he even like handles the ball, how he breaks out with like the passing from the back and stuff like that. He's transformed them completely.
He's
I
not
don't
been
think-
better than Mendy.
He
Mendy
has a
is
case. He has a case for even signing of the season.
I mean, I disagree.
He's not the
Seriously,
signing of the
because he
season.
really has.
It
transformed
was
Villa.
very good
I disagree.
signing, but he's not
No,
the
Ori
signing.
said he has an
No,
argument.
I
but
said a
even
case,
though
a
he
case. I
doesn't-
didn't say
Okay,
he
yeah,
was.
fairs. Yeah, he has transformed that Villa side.
Maybe a case, but I mean, he's not signing the season. And in my opinion, I put Mendy over Martinez for keeper of the year because Mendy he's took over Kepa, and Chelsea now look very solid defensively. Mendy's look very assured in goal. I mean, I think at one point he had like he went on a run of 7 or 8 clean sheets in a row.
Yeah,
Like, I think Mendy should be goalkeeper.
You guys know who my guy is, bro. I always have Schmeichel there, man.
Kasper
Schmeichel.
Schmeichel.
Come on, bro.
Come on.
goalkeepers are just. I don't know.
Why are you? What's your reasoning behind that? Because
That's so consistent, bro. He's actually so consistent, unbelievable. He's such a great goalkeeper.
He is.
Okay.
But
What's this season like? Wait, so your reasoning is?
You know,
He
you
rarely-
don't think that
he
goalkeepers
rarely,
like
he rarely ever
are
has
much
a,
of
he rarely ever has a
muchness.
standout season. He's just always like consistently decent.
We're talking about team of the
team of the
season.
season,
like,
like,
Schmeichel's
yeah.
good, Schmeichel's not.
Yeah.
So are we like agree? So who we agree?
No, I think there's not really agreement. Just everybody just says their opinion. I
Yeah.
guess.
Okay.
Did you
Because
finish your
joint
team?
team though, like, I feel like we have to do a joint team, like a football heritage team. Of
Yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
season.
We should all decide on one player, really.
Yeah,
Okay. Okay, so let's have a-
Before we
quick
go
vote.
into that, Ori, you name yours and then we'll do it together.
Okay. In goal, Martinez. Then from left back to right back, Shaw, Stones, Diaz, and Sufa. In the midfield, Rice, Bruno, and Gundogan, and up front, Grealish, Kane, and Salah.
We basically have the same team,
More or less, yeah.
apart from goalkeeper.
So let's start then. From goalkeeper, who are you saying then?
I'm gonna go Edison.
Let me
I'll say
wait, let
Mendy, I
me
can't
let
lie.
me let me do.
I feel like Edison's such a lazy shot. I can't lie.
I think
It really
Mendy.
is a lazy
I
shout.
think it's such a lazy shot. Like, I'm not hearing Edison shots this year. I can't lie. I'm gonna say it. Despite what I said before, I think I think Martinez. Yeah,
share my screen.
Yeah, that's why I'm like shot stopping is the number one priority. And Martinez has shown that.
Okay, so let's see. Let's go. Yeah, this works. Okay, so where are we starting from? Yeah, goalkeeper. So
the formation we're playing.
It doesn't really matter.
I mean,
4-3-3, 4-2-3-1.
kind of like
Yes,
yeah,
yes.
Yeah, it doesn't really matter.
essentially.
So
Because Mendy
Sorry,
had a couple
Edison.
shaky moments. I remember before Tuchel came towards the end of Lampard, but
Who?
Mendy had a couple shaky moments.
He did.
still think he's the best.
He did. He actually did.
I mean,
Martinez has also had his shaky moments this season.
And think about how, like, the way I'd argue is like, think about how important playing out from the back is for so many different top six sides.
and then we're picking Martinez.
And not even just top six sides.
If we're talking about playing from the back, we're talking about Martinez.
Hey, Mendy's very good with his feet, you know.
Mendy's
He's actually
not
quite
bad.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm not hearing Anderson.
And the most clean sheets. Like, goalkeepers, think
think
about
it
it.
would
It's
be
basically a
between
much of a
Mendy
muchness.
and,
You've got the top goalkeepers and you got the bottom goalkeepers. The rest of them are just in the middle. Like, there's
Yeah.
not really much to separate them.
Okay,
That's true.
so Dan, who you saying?
Me, I'll say Mendy, man.
Sarah, who you saying?
I'll go Edison.
Josh, who you saying?
Michael.
We all got different.
Chris saying
Martinez. So I guess it's Denzel that's the decider.
like Team Martinez and Mendy. Ooh. Right, go on.
I think go Mendy probably then.
Martinez. You know where? Because of I'll be honest. I haven't watched too much of Mendy like that. I'll be real. I haven't watched him too tough. How was he under Lampard?
I mean,
He had a shaky moment on the
He was
Lampard.
very good at the start, and then kind of like how when the whole team kind of dipped, he was
Yeah,
part of
then
it as well.
he just kind of like there were a few games that
Martinez has been fairly consistent. So I'll say Martinez.
Like Chelsea's back three was changing a lot as well, so you got to factor that in.
I think with the left back is
I think left back is quite.
Yeah, I think everyone knows it's sure.
everyone knows it's sure.
I don't think much debate there. Then the centre back, I think Diaz is already.
Yeah.
This is a given. Everyone knows about Diaz.
And I think is the other one that people kind of have a different opinion. So I'm going for Stones.
Put Stones in there.
Yeah.
Wait, okay, well, yeah, that's a still the majority then.
Put Stones, yeah.
Yeah.
Then
Yes.
right back.
Come on, the voice.
I haven't heard a lot of people's opinions. So
We'll go Sufa.
I disagree with Sufa. I can't lie.
what do
I
you
think
think?
I think Cancelo this season was
The
crazy.
issue is with City players; they don't play enough games.
I'm going Cancelo too.
He's played 26 games though. 26 is a lot.
Still not enough.
It's more than Stones.
There's no way we can make a team of the season and not put Cancelo. Cancelo.
I think we can. I think it's attacking bias that's literally killing everyone right now.
I mean, they had the best defensive record for ages.
I was gonna.
But Cancelo defensively hasn't been good himself, so it's kind of a case where like.
I mean, he's not been poor.
No, he's not been poor.
Is he the best? Was he the best right back this season?
The guy's been playing right back, left back though.
I don't know why we're not saying Kyle Walker then.
Again, like they rotate.
How many? Walker's another lazy shout as well.
Like
He hasn't played enough games, and he hasn't even like been. I think Walker is like the convenient option if you want to. But
Sufal, 1-on-1, I'd say he's been the second best defender in the league behind Wan-Bissaka. Like,
okay, good. It's good you know.
Sufal, sorry. Like, covers a lot of ground. Like, if we're talking about attacking, which I don't really give a shit about, if I'm being honest.
I think he even has a couple of assists.
He has 6 assists, which is like the most of any right back in the league.
He has 6.
Yeah, if that means anything to anybody. Like, but 1-on-1, the guys are
That's crazy. This should be
I have a question though. Are we giving it to him because he plays for West Ham and because we didn't expect him to be up there with the best right backs in the league, or are we picking him because he's the best right back in the league?
I'll be real though, West Ham have done better than.
No, genuinely.
To me, when I watched him, he
why.
actually genuinely stood out. I think even before the team of the season thing, I've been talking about him all through the year.
Exactly, and when we've been shifting between a back 5 and a back 4, he's looked perfectly
quite
adept.
impressive.
Like,
impressive.
Nah, you know, I don't mind
FIFA.
Sufa, man.
Yeah, I'm not mad at that. I'm not mad at that.
and
not
he's
mad
got a
at
case for
FIFA.
signing of the season.
We
5
can vote
mil.
Sufa.
Okay, we'll say
Like-
FIFA. Yeah.
Really? Oh.
We'll say, I said we'll say FIFA. Yeah.
No, I mean for
What?
signing of the season.
Oh. Nah.
Okay, gets techie here.
Get techie here. So
Gundogan.
I think Gundo and
Move
everyone
him a bit
agrees.
higher.
Yeah.
has him there.
Gundogan.
Remaining 2. So
I've got man. I don't know.
what's everyone?
good.
So what is it, Rice?
Yeah, I would say Rice. In that position, Rice.
Okay. Then I think.
See, I'll be real. I think Mason Mount has been better than Rice this season as a
What the
midfielder.
hell?
I think Mason
No,
Mount.
that's not a crazy shout.
Barely. Nah, not the midfielder.
How can you compare Rice and Mount though?
Because they're both midfielders, isn't it? Like and
Come
and
on,
Yeah, we're changing up the formation.
Yeah,
midfielder then.
I mean, it's not a team that's gonna play though. We're not playing a tactical.
Yeah, but then
model.
No,
Mount,
but this team could play together. Rice,
Mount-
Gundogan, and Bruno could play together.
I mean,
How is Mason Mount?
Well,
good
how are
enough?
you even judging Mount? He has not even been. He's been better
No,
as
Mount's
a forward.
got a
Mount
case,
has
but
been
not in
better as a
Rice's
forward this
position.
season than a midfielder. He hasn't even.
huh?
Mount has been better as a forward this season than a midfielder.
I mean, he's played
He's been
both.
better.
He's
been
played
better
50-50
playing-
minutes
better
in
playing
both
the front three
positions.
than he's
I
been.
think for the midfield, we'll say Rice. I think it's fair. But Mount is a very good shot.
I can't lie. I disagree.
He should be in
I'm
this
not mad.
team
I'm not mad.
bonus because if his team's gonna finish third, well, maybe
Yeah,
so-
and Mount's been
fourth or
the
third.
best player in that Chelsea team all season.
Exactly. So I think we do need to give him his props.
Or maybe we could take out one of the forwards.
Maybe he's on the bench.
I don't think Mount deserves to be in the team of the season. I'm sorry.
He's on the bench. He's on the bench. We'll see.
What do you say, Josh?
I don't think he deserves to be in team of the season.
Nah, I think he does. Man.
He's had a very good season, but
I agree. He has had a good season for. Yeah.
I think he does.
Do you put him over Rice?
Huh?
You put him over Rice.
I think he's been. Yeah, I think he's
You
had a
say
better
so? You
season.
say
than Rice.
Mount has had a better Premier League season than Rice?
In my opinion, yeah.
Not buying that. Not buying
I
that.
mean, just look at West Ham now. Like we've been conceding so many goals. It's a joke. Like
I mean, look at Chelsea under Lampard, bro. No one was playing well apart from Mount. And then when Tuchel came in, he's been the best player in that team.
but then also when he was playing,
Even on the Lampard,
double
he actually
pivot, they
wasn't,
were
he
still
wasn't,
playing three at the
he
back.
wasn't particularly playing. Him being the best player isn't really because Chelsea were quite whack under Lampard. So,
But Chelsea
He's the
right
best
now are in
player
the Champions
in the
League
league.
final and they're third, and he's still the best player.
like I said, the whole season. So Lampard was the majority of the season.
hey, I can't
Right-
lie.
I'm
Alright,
right
you
of
give
it.
props to Saka for being one of your best players. You gotta give the same energy to Mount, innit? So
Yeah, but I'm not going to be asking for Saka to be in anywhere.
Yeah, fair enough, yeah.
But Chelsea are a lot better than Arsenal, though. And Mount's the best player in their team.
Yeah, but we're looking at the whole season. So Mount was literally under Lampard, and there were games when he
Good
wasn't
under
good.
Lampard though.
There
So
were
wait, you
games he
judging
wasn't
that?
good
A
under
lie?
Lampard.
Wait, so you're judging it based on Chelsea, not Mount, because
You're judging it based on the manager.
Mount has been good the whole season, regardless of the manager.
Has he?
Yes.
He has been.
Early in
Yeah.
the season, there weren't games where Mount wasn't. You literally think Mount was consistent like throughout the whole season.
Yeah,
Nah, he has been.
he was.
Except from the start when Lampard was playing him as a winger. That was the only time there.
And I think there was a period where he wasn't consistent. So I think in terms of consistency, someone like Rice has been way clear of Mount
I disagree.
throughout the
man.
whole season.
I disagree.
Nah.
I think we should move on to the if we go for number 10.
Yeah,
Everyone knows Bruno.
What, KDB?
Oh, get out of here, man.
get that fat
I,
fuck out of here.
I saw so many people put KDB in their team. It's so lazy. Like, if you actually look at his season, he hasn't been all that. I'll be real.
I mean, he's got like
still
11
been good,
assists.
but
He's
Yeah.
been good, but he
Like-
hasn't been
Yeah,
team of the season.
not even
worthy.
just assists,
It's
not
just
numbers
late.
wise.
It's
just
mad
hasn't really
lazy.
done.
Yeah, I don't think he's played as many games.
Yeah, man. You know that's Bruno.
Yeah.
Left.
Okay, let's do the wingers then.
See, I feel like Grealish is the outstanding candidate, but he's been injured.
Yeah.
Been injured.
I'm very
Like-
conflicted.
To me, Grealish.
Been injured for majority of
Like,
2021.
Grealish played 22 games. That's less than Cancelo.
That's why I'm sort of thinking like
Nah, it's Grealish.
I
But I don't know what he accomplished in those 22. I think you just have to give.
But
it.
I'll be honest, I think people are looking over Mo Salah because like he's
He's
still
on the
like,
other side, though.
Salah's on the other wing.
no, I know,
Salah's
but
on
I'm
the-
just saying in general.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah, I've
Salah's-
seen a lot of people overlook.
Salah's
yeah.
in my team.
I've seen people
Yeah.
putting Foden over Salah. I don't get that.
Oh, the
don't
Foden
understand.
prop is I
Salah's
can't
been
lie,
the
it's
most
getting
disrespected player for
That's
this
a
team.
bit forced. That's a bit.
Foden
like,
prop is
yeah.
getting out of hand now. It's getting out of
Bro,
hand.
it happens with every single player. Every player's prop gets massively
Just
overdone.
more-
No, but if let's be honest, Salah never, like in my opinion, just not a lot of people rate him enough. Like over the like since
You know,
he's been
how
in
many
England.
players score 20 goals in a season and they get overlooked for? I don't think it's normal. Like I really don't get why Salah doesn't ever get like. I find it
Where
quite.
would
His own
Liverpool be
success.
without his
Maybe
without goals
because
this
he set
season?
his standards for himself so high. I don't
Exactly,
know.
he's a
Yeah.
victim
It
of
is,
his
it
own
is.
success.
Yeah.
That's exactly
Hey,
what it is.
if
I can't
If
lie,
we're being
that's the same
honest-
with KDB as well, though.
It's
Yeah, I don't
amazing,
think the
man,
two are
but
comparable this season.
not really
anyway.
comparable, man. If KDB was clocking almost 20 assists this season, I think he would be in everybody's team. Even now that he's on 10, he's already in everybody's. He's still in
Yeah.
like he was in Neville's and I think
Carras.
team of the season as well. And he hasn't been playing particularly is weird. I don't know.
Lazy.
So
shout.
the two wingers are Grealish and Salah.
Hey, I
Yeah.
disagree with Grealish. I
think
can't
so.
lie. I love Grealish, but if we're being honest, Son has been better throughout the whole season.
Nah, man. I'm not.
Bro,
You
Son
said-
has.
you said it yourself.
You literally
You
made the
said it
case he's a
yourself
purple
that he's a
patch
purple
player.
patch player.
It doesn't
Yeah.
matter. He's got 17 goals and 10 assists. Who has them numbers and is not in the team of the season?
Nah, I'm looking at influence, and I think
Some of
Grealish
his
has a big influence.
performances, even
You
when
know what?
he's
You know
Bro,
what?
hey,
The
the stuff
Son-
you're saying about Son could literally be said about Bruno. Because
The
Bruno has
Son-
poor performances for a lot of games this season, but will walk away with a goal.
You know what? To me, it is between
The
Son
difference-
and Grealish, but I don't know.
Son's team
Obviously,
is where?
it's tricky. It's tricky.
Nah, I think
Grealish-
Grealish.
I mean-
Grealish has played
Grealish.
22 games, man. 22
I'm putting
games.
Grealish. I can't lie. I'm gonna.
I'm saying Grealish.
You might.
I love Grealish,
But
but
to
I
me,
think
to
it's
me,
Grealish, but I think Rashford has a shout.
let's not
Rashford-
lie. It's because
God,
Grealish
no,
plays for Villa.
get
People
that
prefer
guy
him
out
over
of
Son.
here.
What?
No,
Ra-
Rashford actually has a
Rashford-
shout.
Rashford-
Because
Rashford
Rashford
based on
has
the
a
numbers,
shout.
innit?
Rashford has a shout.
Bro,
Rashford is definitely.
No, man.
But based on the numbers,
Yes,
innit? So Rashford
yes.
has numbers, innit? So, well, for me, I'm putting Grealish and Salah, innit?
Not even,
So,
even our numbers aside, I think like Rashford is generally like played better than Son this season.
I'm not even
And
saying
Son-
Rashford hasn't played
And
that
Son.
well. He hasn't played that well this season, in my opinion.
What?
He hasn't really.
Come off it, bro. Come off it, man.
I don't think
Nah,
Rashford's been that
You know what? You know what? You know what?
Rashford's had a good season.
In terms of,
You're telling me
Wait,
terms of
one at a time, one at a time. Aurier and Denzel.
yeah, in terms of pure football though, like Grealish has played better than Son and Rashford. That's like so obvious. It's
And
quite clear cut. I
That
think.
influence on the team is a
The
lot
influence,
higher.
the influence,
Higher.
there's so many games where you watch Grealish where he doesn't, score assists or do stuff like that. But what he just does on the pitch, how he affects the game and everything, it's quite crazy. I think he's probably like one of the like major exceptions for eye test in this team because like his numbers have been good, but I mean they're not touching Son's numbers this season.
Eye test.
You have to bring up the eye test, I guess.
Hey, that eye
Someone
test.
like-
So when
someone
I bring it up, I'm
it's not on the eye test thing, man.
nah.
The eye test
can't-
thing
you
is
can't-
flawed.
you
I
can't-
would
you
explain
can't-
it another day,
you
though.
How do you watch football, bruv? How do you watch football?
Nah,
Can't bring
I'm
up-
gonna
You
explain
can't bring
how
up
like,
eye test. You can't bring up eye test and back someone getting 0 goals, 0 assists. It doesn't go. You have to at least have decent numbers before you start.
the eye test thing is very flawed in my opinion, but I'll talk about that another day.
No, but Grealish, is the sample size big enough though? He's played like 22
Yes.
games.
I
bro.
think the injury is a huge hit for
Like,
him.
that's
Yeah,
my
look at Villa now though. Like you can see his influence.
So,
But-
who we voting for? What Dan?
No,
Who's your
everyone
left
voted,
winger? Who's your left
Me
winger?
personally, I put Son. I think even though he's a purple patch player, I think he's been his best season.
I'm gonna go Grealish.
Josh.
Grealish.
Grealish.
I'm going Grealish as well, so let's check Grealish.
Grealish it is then.
Oh yeah, Denzel with Rashford, yeah. So you actually think he's been?
He's been
Right.
better than Son this season, yeah.
Better
Over
than
the course
Son?
of the
No, no.
season, yeah. Yeah, over the course of the season, it's been better.
I think
than
so,
Son.
bro.
Maybe. But you know what I'm looking at it with Rashford, yeah. I don't look at Rashford as a. No, I'm not trying to be disrespectful like a Salah where you're just purely a goal scorer. I do look at Rashford as a bit more. Like he does a lot more, if you get what I'm saying. Even though Salah does contribute with some attacking plays.
No, I'm not comparing Rashford to Salah because they're on.
No, I'm not even comparing it. I'm saying like their performance-wise. Like I thought Rashford last season, his performances were better than what he's given this season.
I feel like the injury hampered Rashford a lot last season.
That's probably a big reason why. But
it's affected him a lot this season as well.
When I was watching him yesterday, he wasn't really good, but he got an assist. If you get what I mean.
What I'm saying is, last season he had the back injury, and I feel like that's still affecting him this season. But I feel like this season he's played better than last season.
He just needs a rest.
I feel like he has, because if he had that purple, he had a purple patch last season. If we're being honest, like the post-COVID Man United, the whole team had a mad.
He had a good start.
But over the course of the whole season, I think he's done better this season, in my opinion. Oh yeah.
What's it? So 11 is Salah, innit?
Yeah,
right.
I can't believe people are debating this.
I really don't.
Like,
I can't believe I'm seeing Foden over. It's really
I think Foden. It's just because Foden's English.
Yep. That's definitely English tax.
No, it's just when you're young, people get excited, bro.
We get excited.
That's how it is, bro.
True.
You all know who
because you're English as well, but you know, is when you're young, people have to push the propaganda a bit too much, man.
Yeah.
I don't know what happened to just waiting for someone to develop. Why is it you gotta start doing oh, he's better than Gascoigne, oh, he might be the most talented player in world football. Like, relax, man. Just relax. Let him develop. Like, it's not that deep. Obviously, we all get excited. Like, we all love to see young players blossom in it.
Young players, yeah. But then when you start to, push too much. I think number 9 is quite.
That's easy.
Brewster's been quite amazing this season. So
Tony Martial.
Hey, what's going on there?
Yeah.
Are we gonna do all our player of the season, team of the season, all that stuff? Well,
so obviously,
I think we know who manager is as well. I think everyone has the same manager.
I'd hope
Bielsa.
No, I put Moyes.
I'm joking.
Yes.
I was gonna say.
I can't believe that Neville and Kyrie gave it to Pep. That was quite. I don't know.
It has to be Moyes.
It has to be Moyes for sure.
Nice. There's a very easy argument how you can counteract both of them. Like,
you know, it's also weird. Like very low key. Pep hasn't been good this season. I know. It's weird to say because he's obviously going to win the title, comfortably. But
based on what though?
I don't know. Just normally his standards and just United have lost less games than them. That's quite shocking, man. Like just in how he started the season as well. And I think what just saved him was that he had that really good run where scoring goals and everything, and that just kind of But yeah, I think Moyes has definitely been better than
draws have killed Man United, man. Draws have killed.
That's true.
100%.
Home form at the beginning.
Some of the most silly draws and losses. If you would have rubbed
it's the top 6 ones, the big 6 ones.
Yeah.
Not even I think about the Sheffield loss. I think about games like that. Like if we win our next 2, we're 4 points off City. Obviously, we would have a game. They'll have a game in hand on us. But we could have made it a lot tighter than we did. And there's certain fixtures. It just jars me a little bit. I feel like this year was a big opportunity to challenge for the title. And I don't think we did.
You better build from this season, though.
I've got a worry about Man United that next season they won't build on this.
I think we're going to decline.
There are literally only 2 things that could happen from when you come second. You can either only go up or go down. It's literally
I feel like you're going to go down, unfortunately.
That's what I think.
It's actually true, because more time when you see people that come second, they either win the league or they drop off badly. They don't really sustain it.
What else are you aiming for? Like if you come second next season, you're supposed to be trying to aim for it. So, it's possible though. I hear that they could possibly decline next season, and also they could. It's one of those things where you can never really tell with United.
Bruno's legs fall off, or some BS like that.
Towards the end of the season, Bruno's kind of had a burnout.
He's definitely burnout. Ole doesn't rotate. It gets on my nerves.
I just see shades of Klopp in that. How can you be so naive?
I don't know. I kind of think that he doesn't like to take any chances.
I think he's naive.
He probably doesn't trust his backup in it, and I wouldn't blame him when you have Dan James as your backup.
But then, for example, Neville was complaining last night. Oh, if they get Haaland or Kane and Sancho, that's a problem. Why are you complaining? Man United need the options. I can't see a world where you challenge for the title with Chelsea and City if that's the case. I'll be honest.
I don't know why
Next
everyone
season.
is so always against squad depth. Like when you
That's
already
the
see,
issue.
like,
And it gets
I'm
on my nerves.
seeing a lot of United fans already say, oh, Cavani new contract. Okay, we don't need to get a strike. I mean, I get that, but still, like, there's nothing wrong with having squad depth. To be fair,
No, but I think people
have-
where the problem comes here is when your club is buying for squad depth when you have clear and obvious holes in the starting 11.
That's the major
That's the
issue.
problem.
Yeah.
I think the argument that United fans will use with the whole the Cavani signing, they'll say like we have 3 players that can play strikers.
as a striker, yeah. But you know what?
3. It's not compared to the rest of the team. Like Dan was saying, there are holes in the team, like with right wing, CDM, possibly the centre back issue. I feel like we should be looking at other areas rather than getting another striker.
And I think one thing people need to also deep is there's a difference between squad depth and having a bloated squad.
Exactly.
If United bought another
Players for the
striker,
sake of
man
it.
said you have 4 strikers in Martial, Cavani.
No. I expected them to sell this Martial guy, man. I don't know why my thoughts.
This Martial guy.
I don't know why my thoughts.
Martial guy.
I don't know why my thoughts.
We're not selling him. We're not selling
This
him.
Martial
Like,
dude, bro.
Hey,
Like,
you man,
do
let's
you
move
know what
on.
you
Let's
can
move
do?
on.
Hey.
You know what you could do with Cavani and another elite striker in the season, bro? There's possibility where you wouldn't like at least, maybe even win the title, man. Like Cavani as a backup is scary, bro. Like
frightening.
His movement.
Hey, let's move on to European football. It's been a long time, man. It's been a long time. For like 2 weeks ago now. The semi-final of the Champions League. Let's start with City PSG. Obviously, Man City got it. Man City got it first final in their history. Big up them. I don't even know if they're the favourites right now because it's looking a bit techie right now with Tuchel. But what was our thoughts on that game, man? PSG lost their heads. They lost their heads again in the Ligue 1 game against who did they play? Was it Rennes or?
Rennes.
Yeah, they lost their heads again, man. Hey, these men. But yeah, I know. Should we get into Neymar or should we start with Man City? Because
to start, I'd like to start. Not based on. I'm gonna talk about Neymar. I just want to talk about City.
All right, let's start with City then. All right, Denzel, you kick us off. What was your thoughts on the game?
It was just well, we obviously had the question of is Pep gonna overdo it? He didn't overdo it. Man City just did what they needed to do. I wasn't surprised. I expected Man City to win this tie. Obviously there was a lot of debate around it. There was a lot of commotion about the Mbappe injury on social media, but I don't think Mbappe playing would have changed the way the tie went. It's just City, they've been very consistent throughout the season, and they have big game players, and they executed. They did what they haven't done in the past, and they executed. Talking on the final, I still think they're gonna win the final, despite what's been going on with their losses against Chelsea. I feel like on the day they'll turn up and they'll win. That's my opinion. Yeah, so that's just me on City.
Yeah. Nah, I do agree. City are still favourites. They haven't played their first team when they play Chelsea, innit? Because Foden, De Bruyne, Gundogan, Stones. I don't think Walker played.
Arguably, they played their second team against guys in that game.
So I mean, that's another challenge in itself for Tuchel. But now Man City, it was a proper defensive, professional performance where these men locked off PSG, and you can tell PSG was starting to play a bit. You can tell their heads went. Yeah, they were over emotional and trying to force it, and City just enjoyed it, bruv. You see that Fernandinho guy, bruv? Oh my days, bruv.
He's a genius.
You gotta love having players like that on your team, bruv. Similar to like, the Ramos types of players, they master the dark arts where they know
Diego Costa.
doing. Hey, see, that's why I love players like I never understand. Obviously, I understand why people get annoyed by them, but come on, man, it's a work of art at the same time as well.
Exactly, because he did it without getting carded the whole game.
He did it. The amount of fouls that he made.
That's experience right there, man.
Yeah.
Great game.
But yeah, Dan, what was your thoughts on the game?
I was impressed by City, but I think some people went a bit over the top. Like, I think Gary Lineker said that it was the best performance by an English side away from home in the Champions League. I don't know about that. PSG.
It was home though. Wait,
Huh?
you talking about the first leg?
Yeah. Over the
Okay.
both legs. I think PSG, as we said before, they lost their heads, especially when Di Maria got sent off. They didn't know what to do. They just like Verratti probably should have been sent off as well. He was
Yeah.
on a booking and he fouled 3 or 4 more times. Paredes was getting a bit wild. Neymar was getting a bit wild. PSG, they looked like they had, I don't want to say given up after Di Maria got sent off, but I think everyone knew the game was over at that point. And Man City just, it was just a very professional, clinical job. They defended very, very well. Diaz was fantastic. Fernandinho was very good. Zinchenko was very good. And the goals they scored were just clinical. But I think it was a very professional performance by Man City. And I think going into the final, although they've lost to Chelsea a couple of times, I think they'll be confident. But I'll be interested to see how they line up and how the final goes, because as we've seen, the last 2 times they played Chelsea, it's not gone too well.
All right, what about you? What's your thoughts?
Okay, let me start off on PSG. Yeah. PSG as a squad, I just always find them so like tactically inept. Like they don't always really know what to do at certain moments. So the way Pep kind of approached the game, like you'd think like he'd just be pressing PSG and they'd be sitting back. But actually, I think in the early stages of that first leg, PSG had lots of the ball, but they just didn't really know what to do with it. You know, it
Can I
was
ask you a
kind of,
question, Ori?
yeah.
Do you think that's down to the manager or the players? Because I've heard stuff that the players don't listen to the manager. I've heard that with Tuchel that sometimes the
I
players
would
didn't
usually
listen to the
blame it on the
manager.
manager, but I don't know. Like it's just how PSG always are. But like something like in the Bayern game though, they did follow the tactics. Obviously, they sat deep. And they broke on the counter well and stuff like that. So I don't know. I mean, sometimes it could be the players, sometimes it could be but just all around, they just didn't look very, when they had the ball, they just looked very clueless. And also maybe it was obviously down to Pep's tactics as well. Yeah, in terms of City, yeah, Pep didn't have any screw ups this time. What I really liked that he did was that in that first leg, he literally identified the weak links in the team, and that was Rodri and Cancelo in left back. So he obviously in the second leg, then he started Fernandinho and Zinchenko, and very different performances, because I think everyone knows I always found Rodri very, sus, and Cancelo isn't that good defensively as well. So he obviously switched those two out of the team and brought into it. So that was obviously a good switch. Yeah, and how he just approached that game, he cleared them out of the park really. And like I agree with Denzel, if Mbappe was in that game, I don't really see him doing anything as well, because it was just kind of a thing where like they didn't really have anyone to, play utilize any of the forwards properly. So I don't know where next for PSG, but they just always seem to just, bottle it on the big stage and stuff like that. Neymar's performance was I think it was bad. I just think it was average. I mean, he tried what he could do, but
Don't worry, we'll get about Neymar. We'll talk about Neymar. We'll talk about
We're
Neymar.
doing the name of the debate today.
Neymar. Then
We have enough time.
Then in the final, I have this theory that a final is always an open game. Like I literally don't think finals have any favorites in my opinion. Like I always just see that once you get to the finals, I always think that once you get to the finals, then anything is possible from then on out. It's always happened when there's so many stories of underdogs, quote unquote underdogs winning, finals and stuff like that. So I wouldn't put it past Chelsea to win it, honestly. Yeah, it's going to be a really nice game though. I mean, hopefully, but yeah, I don't know who I predict would win it, but you know what? I'd probably say Chelsea. Yeah, probably say Chelsea. If I was to predict, I'd probably say Chelsea, just because I just think that it's probably not what most people expect. So that's what could happen. So yeah, I'd go for Chelsea.
About you, Sarah, what was your thoughts on the game?
Yeah, I don't really have too much to add. I think PSG, like, it's just like a story of like maybe the season. Like Cardi just hasn't really turned up, has he? To be honest, and he played yesterday.
Awful.
He's been injured a lot, but yeah, he was poor. Neymar tried his best, but it wasn't a very good performance, which sparked the debate. And like the squad building isn't like it isn't too good. Like I know they obviously have like Di Maria, Neymar, Cardi, all these great players, and Mbappe, but like they're just playing like 3 DMs, just sitting there. And I've said this for a few years. Like their fullbacks have just not been very good. Like they brought in Florenzi, who's been like decent, but like when I look at PSG, if they want to stay at the top, they need to plan for the future. They've let a lot of young players go to rival super clubs. And like, I worry for Poch a little bit because you can tell sometimes the players don't listen to him and they just go off their own accord. Players like Verratti running around like a spider, clinging on and trying to get tackles in, just ridiculous. Yeah, regards to City, like yeah, they weren't amazing. Diaz was just blocking everything, to be honest. Like, and Mahrez was clinical, to be honest. There wasn't really much to it. They nullified Neymar. They stuck who was it? Fernandinho, just like in between the lines. And yeah, they played a 4-4-2. I think that's how we expected it to do with KDB up front as a false nine with Bernardo Silva. There's nothing much to it. With regards to the final, it's an open final. It's going to be hopefully played at Wembley, which I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but
it looks like a doubt at the moment.
Really, yeah.
Apparently, might go to Portugal.
Yeah, but we need to see Pep play his best team. Probably that team that played in the semi-final. And Tuchel, we probably know what he's going to line up with the back five and stuff. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens.
You guys, I've got 3 questions to ask. Yes or no? Yeah? No, I don't want no jibber jabber. Just a yes or no answer.
Yeah.
All right. Is Ruben Diaz the best centre back in the world? Yes or no? Me? No. Denzel?
Yes.
Daniel?
No.
Sarah?
No.
Sorry?
No.
Good.
Can I explain?
No.
Quickly. Wait, are we talking about at the moment or just out of every centre back?
Just
regardless of if they're injured or not.
We could say at the moment or overall. How are you saying it?
If we're including injured centre backs, obviously Virgil van Dijk is clear of everyone. So no, if we're talking, but at the moment, yes, I'd say Diaz.
Why can't we just say this season he's been the best? That's it. Not like he's the best centre back. Okay. If you mean like that,
fair
enough. That's what I meant. But Virgil van Dijk overall.
All right. Second question. Is Mahrez on Salah's level? For me, no. Denzel?
No.
Dan?
No.
Sarah?
No.
Sorry?
No as well.
Okay. It seems like we're quite level-headed.
Who's saying that?
Hey, there have been debates saying that Salah.
They have been serious debates.
I'm sorry.
Reactionary takes are an all-time high,
bro. And you know me, I love aesthetics, but come on, we gotta respect Salah, man. We gotta respect Salah. Final question. Is Neymar top 3 in the world? For me, yes. Denzel? Dan?
Yes.
Sarah?
Yes.
Ari?
Top 2.
Okay. All right. So let's move on to the next game. Chelsea versus. We know Denzel's view. Hey, one day
that's for another day. That's for another day.
Yeah.
One day we have to do a show called Unpopular Opinions because we all have some unpopular opinions, bro.
There's a day we will need to discuss like Neymar in general. I think there's going through.
Maybe at the end of the season. So let's see that. But the next game, hey, Chelsea, they mashed some work, man. They mashed some work. And we're gonna get into a particular brother of us. You know the ones there. But Chelsea did their thing. One player actually I have to give a shout out because I've been so critical of him is Timo. You know, I gotta give him his dubs. You know, he's been doing his thing, man. He's been doing his thing. But Chelsea, it was a thorough job, man. We demolished Real Madrid. I said I wasn't scared of Real Madrid because, let's be honest, there's no scary side in Europe, in my opinion. There's no scary side. I feel like if you're a competent side, you have a chance against anybody. And you saw on Wednesday how we were just running riot against them. If we were more clinical hey, it would have been a blowout, bruv. It would have been nasty. But what was our thoughts on that game, Sarah?
Yeah, in the short answer was Chelsea should have basically battered Real Madrid. Like I think, apart from like the first 15 minutes of the first half, I think Chelsea were a dominant team. Like Tuchel's proving me wrong. Like I say, when's he gonna go to 4 at the back? When's he gonna bring on the extra attacker? But yeah, he's doing his thing at the moment. And also, I'd argue before when he first came, they weren't creating any chances, and I was like, okay, are they going to keep winning 1-0 and hoping for the best? But you guys are creating a lot of chances now, and Mount was really good. Havertz, if he scored that goal, would have been one of the goals of the season. Yeah, you're looking strong for the final, definitely. And also, he can switch it up if he needs to. Tuchel, he knows he has the options off the bench. With regards to Madrid, like. As much as I can, like, I understand they have a lot of injuries and stuff. They have a lot of injuries. They were just a bit flat. They couldn't keep up with Chelsea's tempo at all. And you could tell, like, there's a time and a place to play Casemiro, Kroos, and Modric, but not every single game. Particularly when you got a La Liga title race to go for as well, and it's so close. I know they want to obviously win trophies, but Zidane's been a bit naive at times the last couple of years, and it's starting to show. Obviously, did Ramos play? I've forgotten if he's played. Did he play in the game?
Mm-hmm.
He did play.
He did. Yeah, I mean, yeah, maybe Ramos not being at full fitness could have, I don't know, made a difference. But yeah, but their squad building needs to improve as well. Too reliant on too many old people.
Dan?
I'll be honest, I think it was a very good performance by Chelsea. I think Chelsea were defensively very good. I think they were very threatening going forward. And if we're being honest, they should have won 4 or 5-0. Like there was quite a few big chances missed. As you said, I think Timo Werner was actually quite good over both ties. I think Mason Mount was very good. And Kante as well. I know you want to get onto him, but I think Kante was sensational. But I think when speaking about Real Madrid, I think at this moment, and this is no disrespect to Chelsea, but I think this is a very poor crop of elite teams in Europe. I think the top end teams have never really been worse, in my opinion. Like, because if we look at the big clubs, Barcelona, Real Madrid, I know Bayern won it last year, but they didn't do too well this year. Juventus, none of them have, like, even look at clubs like Man United, like none of them are even close to that top level of Europe, and the level which they probably should be at. And I think this tie kind of summed it up, because I think we can all agree that Chelsea are by no means the best club in the world. Like this season, they've not been consistently the best. I think a lot of people would argue they don't have the best players in the world. Although their team is good, I wouldn't say that they are a top elite club, like at the top end of Europe in terms of, like, when we compare them to some of the previous top elite clubs. I don't think Chelsea are there, but they outclassed Real Madrid over both ties. And if we're being honest, they made it look easy. Like Real Madrid at Stamford Bridge didn't lay a glove on them, not one glove, and they're in the Champions League final. So yeah, I think it's a poor time for the top European clubs, and Real Madrid is in my opinion, a perfect epitome of that. Eden Hazard had a stinker. He was horrible. He was really, really horrible. And I think the Spanish journalist who done the video the video where he was rubbing his hands, I think he got it spot on. They should sell him. But no, he was very poor. I think the Modric, Casemiro, and Kroos, although it was a legendary trio on their day, I think their time's come and gone. I don't know if they can compete in that top level anymore. Benzema, obviously, he's still at the top level, but Hazard, as we said, he's not playing there at that level anymore. Vinicius, I don't think you can rely on him in them big moments. Like I think Vinicius is a skillful player, but I don't think he's ready for that yet. Ready for them semi-finals, Champions League finals. So Real Madrid, as Sarah said, Real Madrid need to get better at building their squad. But yeah, it was a very good performance by Chelsea. I was impressed.
Denzel.
Yeah, big respect to Chelsea. I feel like on aggregate, it could have been very, very peak for Madrid. We've talked about how many chances Chelsea missed. Not just in the second leg, even in the first leg, they missed a lot of chances. So it could have been a real embarrassment for Madrid. I just want to give a lot of credit to Chelsea. I know Dan spoke about how the crop of European clubs isn't as good as it once was, which is correct. But at the same time, you can only beat what's in front of you. I know it sounds mad to say that about like a team like Real Madrid with the history that they have, but you get given what you're given, and Chelsea took advantage of that Real Madrid side and dominated them pretty much. Um, Obviously, Kante had a masterclass. We just have to give it up to him. He had an exceptional game. Mason Mount had a very big game. I think it's very key for his experience to play in a game of that magnitude and to put a performance like that in. Tino Werner, I think I said in the preview that the only way you guys were going through is if Timo Werner had a decent game, and he did have a decent game because can't be firing blanks in two legs. So it was good that he had a good game. Kai Havertz as well. I've been very critical of him in his time at Chelsea, but he had a good game as well, so I have to give respect to him. Going into the final, I know I said City, but it could go anywhere. Like everyone else is saying, it could go anywhere. This Chelsea team, I like it. I do like it, and yeah, interesting to see what the future brings to them, because I think this is just the beginning for them on the Tuchel.
All right.
Yeah, on Chelsea, yeah, very good performance. Kante, just back and forth, literally everyone on the pitch. Yeah, everybody literally performed well, and Pulisic off the bench is a really, really, really smart move because he's really fast and he's really like an outlet. So Madrid tired legs and stuff like that. That was a really good substitution. Yeah, Hazard was quite poor. Till today, I still don't really get the Hazard signing, like why they kind of needed it, because it's kind of obvious the way like Benzema plays and stuff like that. He kind of needs like someone who's more of an outlet, someone like an Mbappe, someone who can run in through the half space and stuff like that. Literally what Ronaldo was doing, and Hazard is not that player. He's the kind of player who, even though he's not still playing like the way he actually does play, he's in playing well. But even if he does play well, he still isn't really the type of player to like run through the half space like the way Ronaldo does, or the way Mbappe does, or the way So I didn't really get the signing, but yeah, he was poor. Yeah, they probably should sell him. Depends how they work that out. I don't know. Their businesses, but yeah, all over Chelsea were just really, all over Madrid on both legs as well. Completely dominated it. Yeah. I think the second leg performance though, it really surprised me though, like how composed Chelsea were. They didn't seem to panic. They didn't seem to be under pressure for a side that aren't really used to this stage. So that was really good. Also Zidane, for a manager who has 3 Champions Leagues back to back, he did seem very unsure of his tactics for that game. I think he played Vinicius as a wing back, which I didn't really get. I thought he should be playing in the front line. I don't know why he started Hazard. I didn't really get that as well. Maybe he just thought playing against his former team, something would happen, but it doesn't work that way. So yeah, I don't think he got his tactics, and also the midfield as well. I think he should have probably played someone in that midfield who could be more like, I don't know. Obviously, yeah, the squad is not really that. They don't really have a lot of options, to be fair. But yeah, I think he could have set up way better than he did. Regardless, though, yeah, very good performance from Chelsea, and now in the final, they should just focus on that and try and win it.
I do feel sorry for Zidane because he has a lot of injuries. So
he did. That's why they say the squad is not really yeah.
And then a lot of these guys, you're talking about Modric and Cruz, Casemiro, the amount of games these men have been playing as well at their age.
Burnout is normal, yeah.
Exactly. So just like with any normal professional, they're eventually going to burn out.
Yeah.
With the Hazard thing, if they do get a good offer, they should listen to it. But I don't know, man. The guy is weird because you can't really say he's played a consistent amount of games and said, okay, he's been bad. He's just been injured all the time. But is the thing about that, if you're not available, what's the point of having you? Like, if you can't even guarantee me 10 consistent games, then there's no point in me even having you.
True.
If it's one of them things where it looks like Hazard's going to be fit, give him a run of games. If he doesn't improve, then yeah, you just sell him in. That's as simple as it is, man. With Kante, there's nothing really to say about Kante. We know about Kante, man. When I'm deep in it, what's there to say about Kante? You know, we know he's a world-class player. That's as simple as it is, in my opinion. Any players we want to particularly shout out? Any more players, or is that it?
Yeah, that's about it.
Mm-hmm. Let's quickly move on to the Beta Trophy. What's it called? Europa League. United did their thing, innit? Big up Oli. Finally got to a final. What are you saying, Denzel? Are you confident?
Yeah, I guess we'll see what happens in the finals. It was we lost in the second leg, but obviously the damage was done in the first leg. Cavani has just been immense. It's been a very key signing in terms of the Europa League. So respect to him, and yeah, we did our job. We got through. See what happens in the finals, I guess.
Yes, it is, man. I mean, there's not really much to talk about United. Arsenal was the main one, but we've already spoken about Arteta because we already know how that topic will go down. But let's just focus on the game. I just want to come to you two Arsenal fans to see how you thought the game plan went, and almost you could say the lack of fight at times. I'll start with you, Ori.
Yeah, the performance was disgraceful. I can't lie. To think that we only needed 1-0, that was quite shocking. How we set up, literally, I think even at the start of the game, Villarreal were literally playing like they were the ones who needed the 1-0 rather than it was us. They played with more urgency than us when we were the ones who needed I put that down to the manager, and I put that down to the players, because I think you're meant to set up a team that would guarantee more urgency when you play. And also the players themselves should also have more urgency, like, oh, we need to get that goal quickly. We need to play faster. We need to play with quicker tempo. But they just seemed so like, like it wasn't that deep. It wasn't that serious. I don't know. It was a very confusing performance. Yeah, I don't really know much more to say. I think Emery approached the game really well. I think that was literally what he came there to do, just like nullify all our attacks and just like kind of get that 0-0 draw and stuff like that. So I think his game plan obviously worked out quite well. Yeah, I know, quite shocking. And the fact that Villarreal are so poor, that's why I think they even lost this weekend as well. Against I think Celta Vigo or something, yeah, and they looked awful there as well. So it's just a performance that I do not understand, and it's kind of looking very bleak on where we go from here, because in terms of winning the Europa League or even getting to the final at least, because I always say the final, it could go either way, even though I think United would probably have blown us out of the water either way, but I'd still fancy my chances in the final. But the fact we couldn't even get there, that was quite disappointing. So it's obviously going to affect us this window. I think, you can never really tell, because at the end of the day, we could still have a good window without making the Champions League, but it's unlikely and stuff like that. So yeah, things aren't looking too bright in our future. I think now what we'll be literally trying to fast track everything. So if after like a short while, like really soon, we don't start seeing anything, then I think everything is just going to collapse really in terms of how the club move forward. But yeah, I guess we just really have to see, to be fair.
And Dan, what was your thoughts on the game and how Arsenal approached it?
Nah, I agree with her. I think it was a disgraceful performance. I think that might be the worst performance of the season. I can't think of any off the top of my head which is worse, but that was a horrible, horrible performance. Like, there was no sense of urgency. There was no sense of desire. There was nothing really from the players. And we had all the talk before the game from Aubameyang talking about yeah, this means so much to us. I want to fight and win this trophy for the Arsenal fans. We've put you through a lot. You deserve this. And it didn't show on the pitch. Like, we had one shot on target in 90 minutes and we needed a goal. Villarreal had 3 and they didn't need to do anything. And then this weekend, they lost, I think, 3 or 4-1 to Celta Vigo, who, no offense to Celta Vigo, but they're not that good. Like, it was just a really, really shocking performance. And I think it kind of summed up this season, really. Like, but I think the thing that irritated Arsenal fans was, more than anything, really, was the substitutions. Because, like, bringing on Willian for Aubameyang when you're chasing a goal, to me, it doesn't make sense. Aubameyang is someone who, whatever you want to say about him, he'll get you a goal. Willian is someone who has had who at that point had 2 shots on target all season. In 30 however many games, he'd had 2 shots on target, and you're bringing him on when you're chasing a goal. And then he decides to bring on Nketiah as well, who I don't want to get onto Nketiah because he's young and it's not his fault, but he's not an elite striker and he's not a clinical striker. Like, I know he got us the goal against Fulham, but Nketiah is nowhere near the level of Aubameyang, especially when you need a goal. So the substitutions, I think, really irritated a lot of Arsenal fans on top of the already shocking performance. But to a certain extent, I'm not happy that we didn't win the Europa League, but to a certain extent, I'm happy there's nothing to paper over the cracks, if you know what I mean. Because, like, I was over the moon that we won the FA Cup last year because, I mean, it's a trophy and it was a poor season, so it's something to take. But to a certain extent, I think to the owners, they thought, we won a trophy, we don't really need to do anything. And if we won Europa League, I feel like the owners would think, well, we're in Champions League, we don't need to do anything. When in reality, if Arsenal got in the Champions League with the current squad, it would be very, very embarrassing. Very, very embarrassing. If Arsenal got into the Champions League and came up against a side like City or Bayern or PSG or even that Real Madrid side, we'd get embarrassed. We'd get really embarrassed, and it wouldn't be a good look for Arsenal. So I think at this point, there's definitely a lot that needs to be done. I know there's a lot of rumors coming out that there's going to be a big overhaul and that the owners are going to invest, but we've heard it all before, and talk is cheap. Until I see action, I'm not going to believe in these owners. And yeah, that performance. And the thing that's really irritating is Villarreal, I don't mean to disrespect them, but they're not very good. Like, from what I've seen over the 2 legs, it's that Arsenal lost the tie rather than Villarreal won the tie. Like, that first leg performance, we were very, very poor. They should have won 4 or 5-0 that first leg. Like, we got a penalty which we probably shouldn't have got, and we were given a lifeline. And the second leg, we created nothing of substance. Like, nothing where we should have won the tie from. And going into the final, Man United will beat Villarreal 4 or 5-0 easily. And I'm very, very confident of that because Villarreal are so poor. And yeah, I think it just sums up the season. It's very disappointing performance.
Yeah, I hear that, man. Yeah, that's it, man. Any stars, swallows of the week? Any nominees?
Cherki.
All right, big up Cherki, man. Big up Cherki. You know, we'll hear about his name in the next couple of years, bro. Big baller.
Wallet of the week, Kimpembe.
Yeah.
That was abysmal. That tackle. Oh gosh.
I haven't seen the tackle still. But I heard what he said afterwards. Yeah, man.
Stars of the week, Osimhen, Napoli, 2 goals, 1 assist. Has 10 goals this season after a rough start, so I guess that's quite good. Next season, you know, just be ready to hear from him. 20 plus goals in Serie A is coming, so yeah.
Niger boys are shining, man. They're shining bright. Hey, Denzel, keep out for your Ghanaian guys, bro. Some of them are big talents, you know. Some of them are big talents. But yeah, man, that's it, bro. That's it for this week. Hope you enjoyed it. Like, comment, subscribe, and share with your friends, man. You know what to do. Hit the bell notification so that you're always up to date with whatever comes out. But yeah, man, people, we'll see.